Hello everyone, this is Sid here and welcome back to another video. If you know me, you know that I am a writer, and the first thing that I actually wrote about a year ago now. Well, it wasn't really the first thing that I wrote, but it was the first thing that I wrote that I actually kept because all the stuff before then I deleted. So I decided to see how much I have improved. I was going to reread the first thing that I wrote. So I have some quotes from that, some quotes that really spoke out to me either because they were really funny, really cringe, or they were actually genuinely wholesome. So without further ado, let's get started. It was also where an ancient darkness from an age long past had come back to life once again as well. This time, in not only its first, but its second humane form. But was Crow scared? No, of course he wasn't. Not because of the fact that it wasn't scary. It certainly, or at least he thought that it was certainly scary, but more because of the fact that he didn't exactly have the time to be scared right now. Now, that is an incredibly, complicated sentence. I know that. I knew that when I was writing it, but at that time, I didn't understand that I should just delete it and not worry about it. Even though, the thought is a pretty important thought, it isn't important enough for the reader to be confused while reading it. Even though, for some odd, unknown reason, everyone thought she was, Destiny was not stupid. And she knew that something very important, not to mention top secret, must have happened during their expedition. Being as stubborn as she was absolutely determined to find out, no matter what, and she wasn't going to stop until she did. Now, this is pretty good, but the thing with my old writing versus my new writing is there's a lot of telling instead of showing. So I'm basically dumping out all of her emotions in terms of words instead of per se, showing the reader how she's feeling with her actions. So that would be the more good way to approach this. Murdered, she thought to herself. She looked at the liquid on the ground again, realizing that the scarlet red was probably blood. The black was most likely blood, too. Ash's blood, if he truly was the descendant of a Dark Queen, Dusk. But the Lightlanders are good people, she insisted, trying her hardest to convince herself that they were. We would never, ever murder anyone. This is pretty good, or it's pretty decent, especially for being so old. I just put this in because it was so ironic. Her saying, you would never murder anyone when they've murdered, countless people, and she doesn't even realize it. It's just so funny, looking back on it now. Her breath suddenly became quick and heavy without her even realizing it, and suddenly, she gripped her chest. My heart, she thought. What's happening to me? Her heartbeat was also quickening as well. It was pounding so fast that she could literally hear it through her chest. She was literally almost about to have a heart attack. I included this one because in modern day media where it's this panic attack is so unrealistic, or this writing is so bad because it's not accurate to how it would actually be. And I think this is probably one of those. I have never had a panic attack before, but I can only imagine if you had one, you would not be describing it like this. It literally just says, she was literally almost about to have a heart attack. That is the most telling thing I've ever heard in my life. So I would definitely want to change it to more of a showing type thing. But yeah. He let go of his hold on her, and she immediately jumped into his arms, almost instinctively, and he launched himself into the air with 2 quick flaps of his huge wings. You will be safe, my beloved Raven, he promised her with a quick and seemingly psychotic lick on her cheek as reassurance. But first, I must get my revenge on them. I included this one just because it was so funny. I can imagine Ash licking Raven on the cheek instead of, kissing her. But it's so funny. I don't know why I included that. Ash soared through the sky, almost at light speed, grabbing Raven off of her horse and launching her upwards into the sky with him, in order to dodge the arrow. But even so, the arrow soared towards her, straight across her neck. It tore all the way through it, creating a stream of scarlet red blood that was gushing out of her throat. Destiny cringed at the graphic, gory sight. I love this one because that long description of how Raven is dying and then that short description of how Destiny is just like cringing is so funny, as well as me using the word cringe because like it's a perfectly okay word and it does get the point across, but I just feel like if you're writing something formal, you probably shouldn't use like slang words like cringe. Destiny began to blush, her cheeks turning red as they became hot with embarrassment. She hated being so famous, always the center of attention everywhere she went. But even more than that, even more than anything else, she absolutely hated gossip, rumors, and drama. This is okay because, I mean, I understand how she's feeling. Sort of like if you were a celebrity and people were always, like, talking about you, you would feel, like, uncomfortable. But this is, like, the most in-your-face, pick-me, I'm different from other girls way to write it. It's so cliche. I hate it. Well, how have things been back here at the castle? Destiny asked them, trying her absolute hardest to break the awkward silence that she had accidentally caused as she scooted away from them. They've been good, thanks, Briar said cheerfully. No, not at all, Lynx countered her. Don't listen to her, Destiny. You and I are the only fun things that have ever happened to this awful place. Without you, this place is a literal dungeon of boredom. Aw, thanks, Destiny said, taking it as a compliment, even though she probably shouldn't have. I'm glad you think of me that way. What in the world do you even mean, Lynx? Briar asked her with a laugh. Sure, Destiny is fun, but you're so serious all the time that you're a literal definition of boredom. I just put this one in because I thought it was kind of funny. The dynamic between Briar and Lynx is wonderful, and I love them both so much. Hopefully I'm going to be doing a Drawing My OCs video, and I'll be doing Briar, Jasper, and Lynx. Father, she stumbled before she was cut off by his question. What are you doing awake at this late hour of the night? He asked her, his cold breath escaping from the depths of his lungs in a small puff of air that danced along the chilly breeze of the night. I could ask you the same question, she countered him with a mischievous smile. I just thought this one was pretty funny because, like, Destiny's literally talking back to her dad who, like, just grounded her, essentially. So, like, I would not be doing that. Or else I'd probably get even more punished, which would be pretty bad. Destiny's heart was absolutely broken. Her own mother was a murderer too? How many murderers did she know? Was everyone in the whole entire world secretly a murderer? Still, Destiny understood her cause, especially more so than her father's cause. This is when Destiny realizes that her mother killed who would essentially be her aunt, but she was doing it out of self-defense. But Destiny is just so, like, out of it right now. She's, like, so fed up with the fact that literally everyone has turned out to be a murderer, which, like, I would too. My whole entire world is being flipped upside down, but I think this is just, like, a funny way to do it. Destiny blinked, still shocked. But how come I was never told of this until just now? She asked. What if it's too late? We thought you were too innocent to bear to know of such a dark truth, she admitted. But now I know that you can bear it. You are the strongest and bravest girl I have ever met, Destiny, she said with a smile. Thank you, Destiny replied. I just think this is incredibly cheesy. Like, I don't know. I guess it's nice that her mom has faith in her, especially because she doesn't have faith in herself, but like, girl. Destiny seemed absolutely awestruck. Destiny, you are the light, our light, her mother said. You must become a beacon of hope for us, and shine upon us once again. You must lead us to victory in these dark times of war, and to do so, I must now pass my sword down to you. This, I included, because this is literally just The Legend of Zelda. Like, during the opening scene of Breath of the Wild, Zelda is talking to Link, and she's like,
Link, you are the light. Our light. That must shine upon Hyrule once again.
That's like literally just what this is right here. I don't know why I did that Zelda reference for the Zelda fans. I'm sure the Zelda fans would love that, but I would probably also get like insanely copyrighted. Princess Destiny? Her mother asked her. Yes, she replied. Do you believe that you were absolutely loyal to the Kingdom of Light, and therefore worthy of wielding the sword of the goddess in its name? She asked. Yes, she responded confidently. I do believe so. All right then, her mother replied. You may attempt to pull the sword out of the stone. This I included because just like the first one, this is literally just me ripping off King Arthur. I've never read that before, but I mean, of course, he has that legendary sword that he has to pull from the stone, and that's literally what she's doing in this scene, which is so cringe, but whatever. Also ripping off warrior cats at the same time, because you know, in those like ceremonies, they always say like the same exact thing, like, do you believe that you are loyal to the clan? Yes! Then you may become a warrior. It's the same exact setup as that. It's so cringe. You can definitely see how all the things I love are reflected into my writing. I mean, he is Queen Dawn's self-appointed personal guard, after all, the first knight said. What else could you possibly expect? I know, the other knight said. They are completely head over heels in love with each other. It's so obvious, too. I'm surprised one of them hasn't said anything to the other one yet. I just included this one because it's pretty interesting. We never get to see the two of their relationship together, but we can see how strong it is based on what other people say about it. Too bad there isn't a goddess arrow instead of a goddess sword, she thought, flexing her fingers as she drew back the string of her bow tightly, grabbing not only one, but 3 different arrows from the quiver that had been wrapped over her shoulder. I bet that the goddess arrow would actually work, unlike this stupid, useless goddess sword. I just put this one in because I thought it was pretty funny. She has this legendary sword, but like it's not working for her for some reason, so she's really mad at it. The sword twinkled in the light of the sun. As for the power of light, she said, that power is not truly for sealing away the darkness, but it can still help you. It lies within you, my dear sweet child. Of course it does, she thought sarcastically. I love this one because everyone's like, the true power rests within you. And then she's like, oh, of course. I don't know. It's just a cliche, but pretty funny too. Just tell me when you're ready, Link said. And I'll be, too. Ready to beat you, of course. Destiny laughed. I know you will, she admitted to her. You don't have to go on about it, rubbing it in my face. That's just funny because Link's being a show-off for once in the whole entire thing. She's a pretty humble character other than that. You truly do fight like a wildcat, don't you, Lynx? Destiny asked her with a laugh. Yes, indeed I do, she answered with a quick nod of her head. Of course I do. It's what I'm named after all. Personally, I have no idea why. I chose to include this line twice in the book. I found it later when I was doing the other two. But she references how she's named after a wildcat, like, twice, which is kind of interesting. Raven, how are you here? He asked her in the midst of the burning fire. I thought that you were dead. I am, she answers him. I am a ghost, only the mere soul of my past self. I am not real to others, only to you, and only you can see me. The goddesses sent me here to guide you, not the goddesses that you and I know, love, and worship, but the other goddess, the true goddess. You must follow me, to your destiny. Okay, Raven, he said to her with a nod of his head. I'm ready, whenever you are. Lead me to my destiny. I included this one because, first of all, I thought it was kind of cringe how she was telling him, like, only you can see me and the other people can't see me and the goddess sent me down to send you a message. Because I feel like that's way too much, like, side character for a video game type vibes. But whatever. I also do like how he says, like, lead me to my destiny. Because the thing that she does lead him to is the character Destiny. So I think that's kind of funny and ironic. Wait! Raven! He shouted as he lunged forward and tried to grab her hand, but once again, his own hand just went slipping right through hers. No! Please! Please don't leave me again! But it was too late. Her ghostly figure was already disappearing into the twinkles of the stars, teleporting back to the realm of the goddesses. Of course, he thought sarcastically, Raven leaves me once again! I love this one because his sister was a ghost and she was talking to him, and then he just tried to like grab her because she was vanishing away, and then like she went away and he was like, ugh, Raven left me again. I just think it's kind of funny. I will find him, Crow thought silently to himself, trying his absolute hardest to convince himself that it was true. I will find Ash, and I will murder him myself with my own 2 hands. He will pay for what he has done to me, to my people, to my family, and to my friends. I love this one because sometimes I feel like it's kind of cringe to include like such strict internal dialogue, but I feel like it truly does explain what his motives are pretty well. So I think that's a pretty good one. But anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed it and want me to read more excerpts from my books, please remember to like and subscribe. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day and great rest of your summer. Always remember that if you're a writer like me, it is okay if your old writing is worse than your new writing. That's good because it means that you've improved. And if you've been working on something for so long, then all that you want is to improve, because you want to tell your story to the best of your abilities. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!